There is arguably no more important part of a wrestling match than the finish, but not all finishes are created equal. A great finish can elevate a so-so match, while a good match can be completely ruined by a preposterous finish. In this video, I want to look at some of the more unique finishes in WWE history, and you can debate about which category these finishes fall into, good or bad, but I personally enjoyed all of them. We'll do this in chronological order, so our first stop is King of the Ring 98. This pay-per-view is a legendary one, for one match and one match alone. Undertaker vs Mankind, which cemented Mick Foley's place in wrestling legend. Given the two unbelievable falls he suffered, it's natural that the rest of the card was overshadowed. Ken Shamrock was crowned the King of the Ring, Kane took the WWE title from Steve Austin, and there was a very silly tag match in the mid-card. It was the team of Too Much, Brian Christopher and Scotty 2 Hotty, versus Al Snow and Head. And yes, Al Snow's mannequin head was a legal participant in this match. Head did get some great offense in, even if it was just Al Snow whacking people in the face. But seeing as Head didn't have any shoulders to pin to the mat, how were Too Much gonna beat him? Well, they produced a bottle of Head and Shoulders shampoo, attached it to Head, put it on the canvas, and guest referee Jerry Lawler counted the pin. Because do you get it? Head and Shoulders? Head with shoulders? I realize as I say it out loud it sounds terrible, but the sheer goofiness of it gets a laugh out of me every time. We now jump ahead 4 years to 2002, and William Regal fought the Big Show on SmackDown. Now Regal is a true master of the art of professional wrestling, being able to be super serious as the general manager of NXT, and then go all the way to the other end of the spectrum and be super goofy when he needs to. This is the latter. Regal was well known for using a pair of brass knuckles to win matches, and he tried that again here on the Big Show, clocking him right in the face with what he called the power of the punch. But this would end up backfiring, as Big Show was indeed knocked out, but he landed on the ropes, which caught him and bounced him back right on top of Regal. The best part of it, Regal is trying to kick out, but there's absolutely nothing he could do under 500 pounds of dead weight. He's still trying to kick out after he's been down for a count of about 15. We now go from a match Big Show won to a match Big Show lost. The Giant's run with the Intercontinental Championship is not too well remembered. Not because it lacked quality, but there was so much else going on that overshadowed it. He took the title from Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 28, but I doubt too many people remembered that match after they'd seen the end of an era, and then Rock vs Cena in the main event. The rematch was set up for Extreme Rules in a tables match, and while this wasn't the biggest match on that card either, it did manage to stand out with one of my favourite finishes of all time. The match had been ticking along for about 4 minutes or so, and then right as it was about to enter its second act, it was all over. Show stepped over the ropes to get back into the ring, but Cody drop-kicked his knee out from under him, and he accidentally stepped through a table that had been set up at ringside. The look on that man's face when he realises what's happened is one of the great comedic moments I've ever seen in WWE. Next, it's the only tag finish on this list, and probably the cleverest thing we'll see in this video. The New Day had been WWE Tag Team Champions for 483 days, but the team of Sheamus and Cesaro had been hot on their heels for months. After the champions had deliberately got themselves disqualified on pay-per-view in October, the Bar then won the Survivor Series tag match in November, setting the stage for a rematch in December. What I love so much about this finish is how genius it is from a kayfabe perspective. The story of the match is that New Day have held onto those belts for longer than anyone in history, so the challengers have to come up with something that they haven't seen before. So they come up with a fake out that no one could have seen coming. Sheamus reaches for a tag, but then he drops his hand. Cesaro comes in anyway, and the referee, correctly, doesn't call a legal tag. Kofi nailed Cesaro with Trouble in Paradise and thinks he's got the win, but then Sheamus swoops in out of nowhere, still the legal man. Kofi doesn't know it, but the ref does, and he rushes over to count the pin to crown the Bar Tag Team Champions. A brilliant bit of tactics from Sheamus and Cesaro wins them the tag team titles when no one else could, and the New Day have no choice but to accept that they were beaten by the better team on that night. In a world of WWE where Vince McMahon would often paint everything with broad strokes, the cerebral nature of this finish almost feels like art in comparison. Finally, we come to this year, and the finals of the Queen of the Ring tournament. Lyra Valkyria had been shot out of a cannon after coming to Raw, and with the seal of approval from Becky Lynch, had beaten all before her to get to the finals of the tournament. Standing in her way though was Nia Jax, and if Lyra was going to win, she would probably have to come up with something that Nia wouldn't expect. And we did get an unexpected finish, just not from the person we thought we would. Lyra is going for a powerbomb out of the corner, which is pretty ambitious to do on someone the size of Nia. She's straining, she's pulling, she's heaving, and you lean in as a viewer to see if she can get it. And then, as all of your attention is on Valkyria, Nia's body just comes down on top of her and flattens her like a pancake for the win. There are lots of finishing moves that you can do out of nowhere. The RKO and Sweet Chin Music come to mind immediately. But the Banzai Drop, which Jax had redubbed the Annihilator, typically takes a lot of setup. So to see it come from absolutely nothing is enough to get you out of your chair with shock. It was a very worthy finish to crown Nia Queen of the Ring, and you could make the kayfabe argument that Valkyria hasn't recovered, as at the time we're recording, she hasn't been able to achieve the same level of success since that match. In any event, Nia was on her way to SummerSlam and the women's title. So those are some of my favourite finishes in WWE history. Are there any I missed? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, consider hitting the like button, sharing the video around, and subscribing to the channel.